So why is this so important? I want you to pay a little bit attention to this part, the orange part. What time of the day would this be? Is it 10 a.m. in the morning? Or even earlier? Is it like a 7 a.m. in the morning? Or is it 3 p.m. in the afternoon? Or is it rather 6 p.m. in the early evening? What do you think? You think about it. The answer is, this is the sunset. Do you see a little like an orange-ish, like a sun, sky, and then little hues of orange, purple over it. So this is like a sunset. And look at her dress. Out of 4 seasons, which season is this going to be? Not that easy, right? It's a summertime. Otherwise, why would she hold a fan and have this thin layer of clothes? And this is called yukata. Originally, yukata is used as a bathrobe. It's like a single layer cotton kimono suitable for the for the summertime. And in this case, this is resort place. That's why you don't have anybody. It's not in the city or her house. So it's a resort by the lake. There are not many people looking at it. And this young, beautiful woman is seated with a fan, and then a little bit loose neckline and thin layer of yukata. And then probably she took bath or something like a sunset. How peaceful the time is. And you can see the signature of his name, right? So this painting shows that ideal beauty of Asia. You see what I'm saying? It's not the European women that he used to paint, that sort of young, a bit sentimental. But on the other hand, she's not vulgar. Do you see what I'm saying? She does not look like a vulgar woman as we've seen here, right? She's a decent human being, maybe a samurai family's daughter, and it's a secluded place, and then that beautiful sunset, right? Or the sunset also foretells her forthcoming life story. She may leave the prime age at the moment, but what would she expect? Time flies, and she may reach her mature age, right? Like a sunset. She contemplates on the nature. So this type of painting, there is no political views, right? And he does not promote westernization either. There is no political side or idea. It's just like an essential human nature. So this kind of painting will considered a great painting, especially made of European techniques of yoga throughout the modern period. So this is 1897, and this style is still popular in 1930s, even 1940s. People would like this kind of quiet, reserved, serene styles. I want you to remember Kuroda Seiki. And obviously this is influenced by the French style impressionism, right? Outdoor painting. Even in the beginning, in order to make these European buildings, they invited a European architect, Josai architect. This is a Mitsubishi headquarters. Still, you can see this building in the middle of, this is right across from the Imperial Palace, surrounded by tall old buildings, but see like a sort of a Georgian style, brick buildings with the chimneys. And then Japanese people also built Rokumeikan. This is part of their Imperial Palace, and they built this pseudo-Renaissance style building in order to entertain people. This is more like a banquet hall, but that was destroyed during the war. But it was a popular place for government officers and aristocrats as well to go to have European style banquets. They drink and dance, those kind of things. And this is a new style palace, Tokyo Imperial Palace. What does it look like? If I didn't tell you that this is in Japan, with the Japanese flag, you may think this is Buckingham Palace in London, wouldn't you? Right? So you can see European influence. And then these are all created with the ukiyo-e technique. But they created the European style postcard. And this is for domestic consumption. So, that the team ukiyo-e prints, they now create, 1870s, 80s, they create these postcards of European and American monuments. And then from 1870s, you are going to see that Japan also started the railway. Do you see the steam engine, the railroad system? And these are the timetables. But you can see the exact same the ukiyo-e print techniques, right? We've seen in Hokusai and Hiroshige. Do you recognize what this is? Brooklyn Bridge, right? Washington, D.C. So Japan, by the 1880s, they already had trams. And then they had like a horse carriages, like a European style, and people have a hybrid fashion. This is what I call hybrid fashion. They have a mixture of their traditional Japanese clothes plus European accessories. You can see this is the busiest street, like a Ginza. And so this is what people would buy. People living in the countryside, right? Not in Osaka. Tokyo and Osaka are going through these changes, or Yokohama, but people in other cities or countryside, they hear about it, or they would buy this type of postcard style ukiyo-e prints, and then say, oh, so if you go to Ginza Street, people will wear this type of dress, or people will carry the parasol, you know, like the sun umbrellas that French women carry. And then this is what I mean by hybrid fashion, or like here, some, you know, like a gentlemen, they wear kimonos, but they have a hat and umbrella, sometimes walking stick, and they wear leather shoes. Some are still in traditional kimonos, but in this case, he has a totally new European suit. So these are all created with ukiyo-e prints. So now they don't want to see kabuki shows. They want to see modern theatrical shows showing actors visiting that monuments or famous cities around the world. So it's a strange tale of the castaways. So it's a kabuki show, but actors are dressed in European suit. And then they act like, oh, today I am in front of a Paris Opera. And then tomorrow they will, oh, this is London Bridges. Right? And this is another Congress building, right? Looks like a Greek temple, right? Doric style, you know, conservative temple. These are introduction of new Japanese mode of life. So you can have your photograph taken in the photo studio. People had telephones. This is images of Mobo Moga, like it's a modern boy, modern girl. If you go to around the 1920s, now women of wealthy families can go to colleges. And what do they become? They become school teachers. And they have that European style of voluminous hair. People play tennis here. They go to the beach. And as you can see in these images, married women tend to wear traditional clothes. But young women, before they get married, eventually, I mean, especially, they will have European style contemporary fashion. And the women also work in the factories. So these are their workers' uniforms. And Japan also have a modern office buildings. So this one has electricity and then telegram. Do you know the telegram? Like they can send instant messages through telegram. And then this one had the elevators. So this is a Japan Electricity Company, 1920s. You can read more about it. So Japan was going through a rapid change. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about that ukiyo-e prints.